Shabbat Shalom. My name is Rabbi Mark Bisman. I'm the Emeritus Rabbi of Port Zion, and I'm the substitute for our Rabbi, Rabbi Green, who's away. Before we begin the formal service, since candles were lit first for Hanukkah and then for Shabbat, before Shabbat, so I thought we would sing words in front. By the way, welcome to everyone online. Your presence is appreciated. So I thought we would sing Ma'osur. Oh, I found the page for that. I could just remember here. Okay, look on page 429 in this Sidur Lev Shalem. But I'm going to ask you, we're going to sing it Ma'osur first in the Hebrew, and then in the English, but I'm going to hope you have a memory of the way it used to say, because this translation, while it might be a better translation if it is, the one in my head goes, Rakave, just let our song. Okay, so hopefully you'll sing that. Okay, page 429. This is in honor of Hanukkah. Ma'otsur Yeshuati L'chana el shabeach Tikon beit tefilati B'sham toda nizabeach Le'etachin matbeach Mitzar hamnabeach Azegmor Bashir Mizmor Chanukat HaMizbeach Azegmor Bashir Mizmor Chanukat HaMizbeach Yevanim Nikbetsu Alai Azai Bimei Chashmanim Ufartsu Chomot Migdalai Batimu Kol Hashmanim Uminotar Kankanim Nasanes Lashoshanim B'nei Vina Yemei Shmona Kavu Shirur Nanim B'nei Vina Yemei Shmona Kavu Shirur Nanim. Now an old translation from my childhood. Rock of ages, let our song praise thy saving power. Thou amidst the raging foes wast our sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but thine arm availed us, and thy word broke their sword when our own strength failed us, and thy word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. Tomorrow morning I'll address a little bit more about the changing ways in which Hanukkah is both celebrated and the things it says it's celebrating, but that's tomorrow morning. We'll turn now to the beginning of the welcoming the Shabbat formally on page 5 for Shalom Aleichem, page 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitkhem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. On page 10, the mystic's ode to the Shabbat and to the desire to feel that extra special soul on Shabbat. Page 10. Yadid nefesh av harachaman meshoch avdach el ritzonach yarut avdach kemo ayal yishtachave mul hadarach ki yeravlo yedidutach minofet suf vecholtam hadur nae ziv haolam nafshi cholat avatach ana elna rifana la beharot la noam zivach as titchazek v'titrape v'haitalach shivchat olam v'tikyehemu rachamecha v'chusna abeno havach ki ze kama nichsof lirod v'tiferet uzach ana eli machmad libi chushana ve'al titalem higalena ufros chaviv alai et sukat shelomach ta'ir eretz michvodach nagila v'nismecha bach maher ahuv kiva moed v'chaneni ki me'olam yalalalai 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 My melodies may be from the old, if not the old world, at least from earlier in my life. I like to sing along with the chazan. I don't usually listen to the Friday night service, so I'm not sure what melody she's choosing. So this is one from a long time ago. Lecho neranen al Adonai, nariya letzur yishenu, nekadma fanav betodah, izmirot nariya lo, ki el gadol. Okay, that's the problem is I got everything ready, but then there was no time for practicing melodies. My apologies. That was actually a melody probably from my youth and not from the first synagogue I led, because the melody repeats Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena. That, you know? Okay, let's try that again. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Nariya, Letzur Yishenu, Nekadma Fana Betoda. Nazriya, Letzur Yishenu, Izmirot Nariya Lo. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Arbaim shana kut bedor va'omaram to'ei levavchem v'hem lo yadu derachai asher nishbati ve'api im yavaun el menuchati. Yismechu Hashemayim on page 14. where the little caret is, indicating on page 14 in the Hebrew. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. On page 16, at the, 4 lines from the bottom, on page 16, Or Zarua, a light is sown for the righteous. Or Zarua la tzadik, ula yishrelev simcha. Or Zarua la tzadik, ula yishrelev simcha. Or Zarua la tzadik, ula yishrelev simcha. Simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, v'hodu lezecher kodsho. On page 20, you can imagine we're counting off the 6 Psalms, but we do them a little short. Page 20 at the bottom. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Okay, sorry. I thought we hadn't done Romemu. I was going back in there. Wait a minute. We just did page 21. Mizmor LeDavid, Havul Adonai ben Elim, Havul Adonai, Kavod Baoz, Havul Adonai, Kevod Shema Ishtachavu Adonai Behadrat Kodesh, Kol Adonai Al Hamayim El HaKavod Hirim, Adonai Al Mayim Rabim, Kol Adonai Bakoach Kol Adonai Behadar Kol Adonai Shover Arazim Vaishaber Adonai Et Arzei Halbanon Vayarkidem Kemo Egel Levanon Vasirion Kemo Venrei Mimai Kol Adonai Chotzev Lahavot Esh Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh Kol Adonai Yechol El Ayalot Vayechesof Ye'arot Uvhechalot Kula Omer Kavod Adonai Lama Buya Shava Yeshev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitein Adonai Yevarech Et Amo Vashalom Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai Lai Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Page 24 for Lecha Dodi. Page 20, did I say it's 23, it says. Okay, I just have this melody and it knows all the stanzas, so hopefully it won't prolong the service. Sorry. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hashmianu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem ultiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kumi tzei mitoch afecha, rav lach shevet be'emek habacha, v'hu yachmol alayich emla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Idna ari me'afar kumi, livshi bigdei tifartechami, Ahayad ben Yishai beit alachmi, karva el nafshi ge'ala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Hitorari, kiva orech, kumi uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lo tevo shiva velo tikal mi mama tishtochachi umatehemi bach yechesu ani ye amni b'niv neta ir al tila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. V'hayulim shisa shosayich v'racha kukol, mevalayich yasis alayich, Elohayich kimsos chatan al kala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Yamin usmol tifrot siviet Adonai, Taritzi al yadish ben partzi v'nismecha v'nagila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabla. We rise and face the rear to welcome Shabbat. Boi v'shalom materet pala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzala, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. May be seated. We pause to acknowledge those either with us online or in our presence who may be in mourning. We pray, Hamakom Yenachem Etchem B'toch Shavlei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. May God help you find comfort along with all who remember Zion and Jerusalem. Turn now to the Mourner's Kaddish coming later. Page 27. The Psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Tov Lehodot LaAdonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. L'Hagid Baboker Chasdecha, Yemunatcha Baleilot, Ale Asor V'Alei Navel, Ale Higayon B'Chinor. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Tov Lehodot LaAdonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. On page 28 at the caret there, Tzadikat Amar Yifrach Keres Balvanon Yiska Shatulim Bavet Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvon Baseva Teshenim Barananim Yeyu Lehagid Ki Yashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Avlatabo. Page 29, the last psalm concluding the Kabbalat Shabbat service, after which we'll invite mourners to say Kaddish. Those observing your tape, page 29. Adonai Malacheu Lavesh Lavesh Adonai Otizazar Mikolod Mahim Rabbi Madirim Ishpereya Madir Bamarom Adonai Eidotecha Nemnu Miod Levetchana Vakodesh Adonai Leorech Yamim. We invite those observing a yard site or those who may yet be in mourning on page 30 for Kadisha to a mourner's Kaddish. Yid Kadal, the Yid Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Bialma Divrach Yerutei, Biamlich Malchutei, Bechayechon Uvyomechon, Uvchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala Uvizman Kari Vimru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Leolam Ulo Me'almaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, Yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitalah, Shemei Dekudsha Rechu, Leila Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Damiran B'alma V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah Min Shmaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imrama, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru, Amen. To be seated, we're going to pause. This is where Rabbi Green gives a few remarks. I'm going to tell you a page to look at so you'll see what I'm referring to. This is the only time in any of the services that we have in the congregation where there's a reflective pause, which is possible to comment on the Shema. So I'm going to comment on the paragraph everybody skips or hates, the middle paragraph. So if you'll turn to page 42, and then I got to turn to my words so I don't talk too long. So at the end of what I'm going to say, I will try to link my comment about the Shema to one interpretation that's given of why Hanukkah is celebrated for 8 days. But first I want to call your attention to a vav, which means and or can mean anything when you're translating from Hebrew into English and understanding the context. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 9 lines down where it says, V'samtem et devarai ele al levavchem. Put these words on my heart. The vav is translated as if it just means and. Thank you. And I'm going to try to point out that this is not what we've always usually think about. I mean, from my childhood on, and probably through rabbinical school and forever after, until recently, when I began to recite the Shema at bedtime, all 3 paragraphs, and then somehow, at some point, that vav said something different to me than it does and. So, if you just read the first part of that paragraph, you begin to worry about all this reward and punishment, which is a difficult thing to address. And so here I'm going to read the English for that section. I think I have misunderstood this section that begins, if you will follow the mitzvot that I command you today, then I will favor your land with the rain it needs at the right time, so that you will have an ample harvest. There will be grass for your cattle. You will have enough to eat and be satisfied. But if you follow and worship false gods, I will close the heavens and hold back the rain, and the earth will not yield its produce, and you will soon disappear from the good land I'm giving you. So as I already said, as a young person and even as a theology student, this section presents all the problems of reward and punishment and of natural cause and effect. We know that God doesn't interfere with nature to punish human beings. At least most of us accept that idea. So you'd have to give this section an environmental twist to find some way to make the cause and effect. Well, if you tear up the land, if you tear up the earth, then things will not be good for you. But I'm convinced now that we're misunderstanding this entire section. Everything hinges on how you translate the vav, which means and or therefore. Throughout the middle parts of the Torah, we see lots of details of people being isolated, people who are being sent out of the camp, people being excluded for what we would say they're doing nothing right or wrong, or they can't control whatever's happening. We just see exclusion, punishment, and blaming the wrong person for conflicts. But in my opinion, we're misunderstanding all of the Torah, all of Leviticus, because whether it's Leviticus or Numbers, the goal is how to tell people to get back in, not how to push them out. It's all about trying to create communal solutions for reintroducing or reincorporating people who have somehow become isolated from the community. So I want you to consider this colloquial rephrasing. You'll forgive me for I'll play God, okay? So here God says, guys, I've taught you a good way to live, but let's face it, things go wrong, you're gonna mess up. That's just being human, I understand that. Society can be unreasonable, relationships can get turned inside out. But our goal is reconciliation, reintegration back into a community, and coping with irrationality. So what I'm trying to tell you is how to return to a healthy path, how to return to your community, to your family, to your person. That vav means here's how you do it. Here's how you get back on the path. All of these behaviors, whether it's looking at the knots at the corners of the talit, or teaching your children values, or reminding yourself of your ideals, has only one goal. It's to reach the land of Canaan and to have the life that God is trying to give you there, which God promised your ancestors. The goal is to be in community, to live out your ideals, to have health, prosperity, and all that is good that I promised you could have. Not because if you err, I will punish you, but because I know you will err. And I have some tools to help you stay on the goals that you want for yourself and your family. It's the same message as Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. Of course, you will stumble, but you can get back on the path that you really want to be on. There are second, third, and fourth opportunities to get back on the road you want to be on and to remind the next generation of the values of that path. Not to avoid punishment, but to be always on the road to recovery and repair, to fix what gets broken along the way. And so here's one explanation of Hanukkah, why it lasts for 8 days, that's connected to, you missed something, here's how you can fix it. During the war that the Maccabees were fighting, Sukkot was happening and they were not in control of the temple and they couldn't celebrate it. So one interpretation says, so when the Maccabees recovered the temple, they made up for what they missed and they celebrated the 8-day festival they missed with an 8-day celebration later in the year. We call it Hanukkah. Of course, there's lots of other explanations, but not for tonight. We'll return now to the evening service, which begins on page 39A. If you'll please rise for the Baruch. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Be seated. We continue to our session. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimoch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. You know the melody, please join along on page 40. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu u'v'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu v'orech yameinu u'vahem negeh. Ki heim chayenu v'orech yameinu vahem negeh yomam v'layla. Yavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha, uvechol meodecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele. Asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam Amazizot beitecha uvisharecha b'hayim shama v'tishma. Adonai Elohechem emet be'emunah. Page 44. Umalchuto bratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe uMiriam uvnei Yisrael chanu shira L'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh Nora tehilot Osefela Malchutecha ra'uvanecha Bokeyam lifnei Moshe Ze'eli anu v'yamru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed V'nemar Kifad Adonai et Yaakov Ugelo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael. Page 45. Ashkivenu. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha v'takneinu b'etzat tova milfanecha Poshenu Laman Shemecha V'Hagem V'Yadenu. I should apologize to the man who wrote or the man or woman who wrote that melody. It's a beautiful melody, and I'm butchering it. I apologize, not to you, to the prayer, and to that we'll continue to ourselves. Ushmor tzeiteinu v'oinu l'chaim u'shalom me'atavi ad olam ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha baruch ata Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu yakol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Please rise, page 46 for V'shamru. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam Oti le'olam Oti le'olam Shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Uvayom hashvi Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam. Remain standing for the Chatzi Kaddish and the Amidah which follows. When you finish the words or your own thoughts, please feel free to be seated. Page 46. If I step on the side, will this work? They're not here. If I step over here, will it pick me up? Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah Ve'alma divraki v'tev yamlech malchutei v'chaye onu v'yomecha U'chayedecho beit Yisrael Ba'galah
Nase, V'yit Hadar, V'yit Ale, V'yit Allah, Shemede Kurisha, Rifu, Le'ela, Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbecha Tavanata Mata, Tamiran Be'alma, V'imeru, Amen. Al Hanisim Bial Hatorkan Bial Jura, Kiminatit Yahu Ben Yochanan Kohen Gadol, Ose Shalom Bimroma, Uyase Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Va'imru, Imru, Amen. Yase Shalom, Yase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yase Shalom, Yase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom,
Yasa Shalom, Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'Imeru. Amen. Okay, it's the custom of this congregation to mention all of those who are in need of healing. If you want to follow the words to the Debbie Friedman song that's on page 173 in the Siddur at the top. And if I falter on the melody, we pause after the first paragraph to read all the names. But I'd be glad to get any help to get back on melody if I do anything like I did for Ashkeleni. Mishebeirach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. We remember Atan Sariel, Yehuda ben Tova, Mark Finkelstein, Jackie Berger, Yachili bat Chayasora, Adine Mordechai ben Bela, Steve Thorpe, Meryl bat Perla, Tzvi ben David b'Shoshana, Simcha Yosef ben Leah, Yehudit bat Yocheved, Barry Green, Sarah Rachel bat Cyril, Rachel Rivka bat Perla, Mordechai ben Ruth, Esther Batya bat Liba, Devorah Miriam bat Bracha, Yehudit Esther bat Rachel Leah, Natan Yidel ben Lakey, Malka Devorah bat Chana Shifra, Joan Gray, Daniel Yisrael ben Ilana Simon, Batya bat Sarah, Pearl Abrahamson, Nancy Zorfas, Judy Friedel Yehudit bat Chana, Marcia Azimov, Yenta Gittel bat Hinda, Elka Adel bat Bela, David ben Elisheva, Abraham ben Meir, Moshe ben Rael, Yehudit bat Yocheved, Yitzchak Halevi ben Miriam, Vicky Bird, Heather Mikuliski, Chesa bat Brina, Annette Ruotolo, Yehuda Braun, Neil Rosenblum, Arav Masha Rachel bat Golda Leah, Eric Walters Isa ben Miro, Yankel Herschel ben Malka, Aharon ben Lisa, Eliezer Leib ben Sarah Elka, Michael Donahue, Shoshana Sharon bat Chana, Chaya bat Devorah, John Grenick, Mayor David ben Brindle, Shalom ben Pesel, Chaim Michael ben Yocheved, Eliyahu David ben Yehuda, Yehudit Chana, Barak ben Bracha. Mishebeirach imotenu, Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. So in this synagogue, we do the Kiddush at the end of the service, so the people, I guess, I'm not sure why we do it, but that's the way we do it. So oh, and I also apologize because I didn't catch that Al Hanisim is not printed where it normally would go. You have to flip pages and pages to go find where it is, and then try to flip back to where you were. There's a lot of wonderful things about this Siddur, but I'm sorry they did it that way. But anyway, I forgot to warn you. What? It's not my fault, but I do belong to the organization that published it, so I have some responsibility. Okay. According to my instruction sheet here, we're ready for Aleinu on page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shehu noteh shamayim ve'yosed haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim imav, u'shchinatu zo begovei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efezulato, kakatu betorato, yadata hayom ve'hashevota el levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, bashamayim ima'al, ve'al haaretz mitachat ein od. Okay. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. One problem. We're going to say Mourner's Kaddish now. And if you give out the wine now, what am I going to do when I say something, a mazel tov to the wedding anniversary that's here? Yeah, put it back. Sorry. Okay. These are the yard sites for this coming week. Florence Weinstein, Charles Trepper, Joel Abramson, Beatrice Pleasant, Ted R. Savage, Charles Kahn, Cosmo Troisi, Julia Rafal, Minnie Petroska, Rose Norban, Annette Korn, Bruce Mallon, KJ Miller, Shirley Solomon, Sidney Geffen, Abraham Rubin, Enid Shraga, Joseph Prushansky, Stanley Rosenfield, Sherwood Koblenz, Marcia Zalmanoff Weinstein, and Gerald David Weinstein, mother and father of Jeff and Jonathan Weinstein, and grandmother and grandfather of Lila Weinstein and Nathaniel and Amara Weinstein. Annette Korn. Did I do that wrong? Sorry. That's all I got. Ada Cohen, Ethel Winsberg, Goldie Kay, Gerald Weinstein, Noel Romanoff, and we're also sad to report the death to congregants of Simon Rabinovitz, father of Elliot Rabinovich, grandfather of Jacob Rabinovich, who grew up in Colombia but made Aliyah, and his burial will be in Hadera, Israel on Sunday. We also regret to inform the congregation of the passing of Sandy Brooks, the mother of David and Jennifer Brooks, and of granddaughter Emma Brooks. She will hopefully be buried also on Sunday. In solemn testimony to that unbroken faith which links the generations one to another, invite those observing a Yortzeit or yet in mourning to affirm our faith in the possibilities of the future in spite of our personal losses. Yid Gadal, Yid Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma divrach Yerutei, V'amlich malchutei, V'chayechon v'yomechon, Uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agala uv'izman kari, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Ulam Ulomei Almaya. Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekudsha, brechu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, tamiran v'yalma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imrumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May be seated. Before we get to the Kiddush, we have a Simcha, 45th wedding anniversary of former congregants, and the rabbi in the family is not here. Is that correct? Okay. So we'd like to call up Finkelsteins. Michael and Sherry Finkelstein, and we'll make a Yisha Baruch for them. Stand right there for the moment till I find the right spot. So, from this family, from these two, have come many aliyot to Israel, people who settled in Israel, and physicians, and the marriage to a rabbi, and being the Rebbitzin. So I think you can rest assured that you've done not only your duty, but you've made a lot of people happy, and we're glad to be able to participate in your joy, and thank you for sharing this with us. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzhak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarivka Rachel v'Leah. V'yivarech et Mordechai ben Yaakov Menachem, Sharon bat Elchana Ruvain, Bavur Shaba'u Hayom l'hodot l'shem kodsho kol ha'chesed asher gamal lehem miyom chanudatam miyom simchat libam ad hayom hazeh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmereim v'yatzilei mikol tzara v'zukah nega u'machala yizku lirot tza'ehem oskim b'torah u'v'mitzvot u'v'tzorchei tzibur b'yan Eretz Yisrael v'emunah yishlach bracha v'atzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yedehem kol Yisrael echav v'nomar. Amen. For English, it's Michael and Shari Finkelstein. Finkelstein. I'll get it right.
Thank you.
All right. And now, I think if I go back to my list, it's either Kiddush or announcements. I think it's,
Can I say something?
yes, you can say something, as long as, you know.
I just want to thank, this is really a Neskadol Hayapo, because when we learned last minute that Rabbi Bisman, our beloved, learned, kind, compassionate, integral part of our family, was leading services tonight. And from all of us except our son, our eldest David, and his lovely wife Jana, and the new baby, and Mayan, our oldest granddaughter that just flew in from Israel, this is really a Neskadol. Having the outside my son-in-law, I have to include him. Rabbi Bisman is the most amazing rabbi, and he's irreplaceable. We've gone all over the country. We've lived, and no one can fill his shoes. So that being said, he helped us. He was great. He came to Israel. He bar and bat mitzvah Tom and Karen, who were here, up on Masada. He schlepped when I couldn't. I was busy working retail, 18-hour days. He schlepped and picked you up from Hebrew school and drove you home. So he is learned and skilled on the bima, but way beyond the bima. He's just a mensch. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and
Mazel tov.
we really appreciate everything you've done. Thank you. And thank you, kids. This was
And,
really
and
amazing.
after services, we'll do a circle. Siman Tov and Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
Just for the record, I am retired, and the rabbi of this congregation is Rabbi Green, who knows more midrashim than I have ever heard of. I mean, he grew up in Los Angeles, and he's just got, anyway, he's amazing. So thank you for those comments, but come and hear Rabbi Green, because he's good too. He's better than me. Okay, I think we have announcements from our president.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you for leading our Kabbalat Shabbat services. Thank you, Pam Carson, for making sure everybody can see online who's visiting. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Our Bikur Cholim committee is ready to help members that have any medical issues, need rides to doctors, are welcoming a new baby. The committee does so many things. Please feel free to reach out, call the office, ask for help. That's why we're a community. We are having an incredible Hanukkah party here on December 29th for families with young children. The Arizona Puppet Theater is going to perform Jack and the Beanstalk, and families can join in with songs, prayers, and just wonderful joy. There's also going to be a congregational celebration on December 30th at the J.W. Marriott Desert Ridge, and together we are going to light the community Chanukiah with people from the JCC. January 4th and 5th, we're having the Shalom Gallery Art Show. It's an auction. It's actually online now live. Please see our bulletin for more information. Ticket sponsorships are available for our gala, which is March 1st. We hope you'll join us tomorrow for Shabbat services starting at 9:30, where you'll get to hear the wonderful Rabbi Bisman again. Congratulations to the Finkelsteins for their incredible anniversary, and Shabbat Shalom and Chag Urim Sameach.
Now I think we have to find those cups of wine. All right, and I have to find the page number. They gave me the page. Page 55, please rise. Sabri Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Borei Peri Hagafen Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Kitshanu B'mitzvotav B'ratzavanu B'Shabbat Kodsho B'Ahava Uvratzon Hinechilanu Zikaron L'Maseh V'Reishit Ki hu yom tachila lemikra kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim ki vanu vacharta yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvrason Hinechaltanu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. I think we can now sing for the family that has the Simcha. Siman Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov and Siman Tov, Siman Tov and Mazel Tov. Simen Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Simen Tov, Yahelanu, Yahelanu, Yahelanu.